Hello, my name is Rashid Salim and I'm a university student at the University of Gloucestershire studying sports and exercise psychology as a master's degree. My digital presentation today will be focusing on the differences in motivation and self-esteem between elite and non-elite youth cricket athlete players.
Full toss outside of done, meant to be the Yorker.
And then suddenly Harmison finds a ball from somewhere that just explodes off the pitch, and Kasrovich and Jones is behind it, and he's just got to get there. He's got to catch it.
Jones, Barman, Kasrovich, the man to go, and Harmison has done a despair on the faces of the batsmen, and joy for every England player on the field.
I came in like this, going la 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 la, like, you know, like a couple of teenagers having a row, refusing, you know, sort of whistling in order to stop the other one from hearing them. And la 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 la. And it was a slow-mo replay of Gareth Jones leaping to his left, catching off a very bad ball from Steve Harmison.
As mentioned, my area of research will be focusing on motivation levels between elite and non-elite youth athletes, focusing on the outcome being their intention to persist and their self-esteem levels. My research questions are as follows. Are there any differences in motivation between elite and non-elite youth cricket athletes? And also, does autonomy, supportive and controlling coaching impact upon self-esteem when comparing elite and non-elite youth cricket athletes? And finally, do elite athletes experience a higher level of control compared to non-elite youth athletes? My epistemology is that of a social constructivist, as I agree with Robson that social properties are constructed through interactions between people rather than having a separate existence. Meaning doesn't exist in its own right, and it is constructed by human beings as they interact and engage in interpretation. After reading Robson's 2011 paper on real-world research, where it was said by Schwant in 2007, this approach emphasized the world of experience that is lived, felt and undergone by people acting in social situation. I feel this sums up my research question, as I want to know if there is a relationship between elite and non-elite athletes' intention to persist and their self-esteem levels, which I believe will be different due to their experiences of the world. This is opposed to objectivism, which believes that facts are facts and the views of individuals do not contribute towards reality at all. My ontology will be coming from the postmodernist approach, as I believe that reality is a state constructed by the mind. Modernism's central belief was in rationality and in progress through science. However, postmodernists challenges the idea of progress through reason. According to Wilson 1999, there is no real reality, no objective truths external to mental activity, only prevailing visions disseminated by ruling social groups. People, unlike objects, are conscious, purposive actors who have ideas about their world and attach meaning to what is occurring around them. As my methodology and methods are of a mixed method, my theoretical perspective is that of a pragmatist. I firmly believe in carrying out research with the best methodological approach so as to find out the answers to the problems which are being addressed. An important feature of the pragmatic approach is human inquiry, i.e. what we do in our day-to-day lives as we interact without the environment, and is viewed as being analogous to experimental and scientific inquiry. We all try things out to see what works, what solves problems, and what helps us to survive. It also recognizes the existence and importance of the natural or physical world, as well as the emergent social and psychological world. Therefore, it is not limited in its explanation, and views current truth, meaning and knowledge as tentative and changing over time.
I was walking down the street, concentrating on truck and ride. I heard a dark voice beside of me, and I looked round in a state of fright. I saw four faces, one mad, a brother from the gutter. They look me up and down a bit and turn to each other. I say I don't like cricket. Oh no, I love it. I don't like cricket. No, no, I love it. Don't you walk through my words, got to show some respect. Don't you walk through my words, 'cause you ain't got me out yet. He looked down at my silver chain. He said, I'll give you $1.
My hypotheses are as follows. From previous research carried out, I expect that individuals with higher intrinsic motivation towards cricket will have a high intention to persist compared to those who are extrinsically motivated. I expect that youth athletes with higher autonomy levels will have higher self-esteem in comparison to those with low autonomy levels. And finally, I expect elite athletes to experience a high level of control when compared to non-elite youth athletes. The methodology for this project is experimental research, and it will be conducted at Warwickshire County Cricket Club and Attock Cricket Club. A cross-sectional field study will be carried out. They are relatively easy and inexpensive. It's also easier to do your study using a large group of people because you only need to use them for a single session. Finally, it's easy to get people to agree to be in a study if it only takes a single hour or a single day. As I have mentioned, my research paradigm is that of a mixed methods, as I will be collecting both qualitative and quantitative data. The questionnaire will consist of different measurements for each specific area of research. In the upcoming slides, I will be demonstrating where I received these measurement scales from, and also I'm hoping to add a description box at the end of each section on the questionnaire to collect qualitative data as well.
'Cause he looked down at my silver chain. He said, I'll give you $1. I said, you got to be joking, man.
A multiple variance analysis will be used to look at the differences between perceptions of controlling coaching and autonomy levels across two groups, i.e. the elite and the non-elite. Furthermore, a regression analysis will be used to indicate the correlation between the variables, i.e. the intention to persist and the self-esteem levels. A methodological issue concerning the study is time limitation. As it is not a longitudinal study, I will not be able to go back to the setting a year later and obtain the results over a time period. For example, the intention to persist or the self-esteem, measured a year later. Social desirability may be a limitation. The athletes may answer the questions with the intention to fulfill what the experimenter may be looking for. As the questionnaires will be carried out once, the emotional state of the athletes may vary the true results. If they are feeling particularly unhappy that day, they may provide answers that do not represent their actual views towards autonomy and control. In regards to future directions, carrying out a longitudinal study so that after 10 months and 22 months, the intention to persist and self-esteem levels can be measured again. This will increase the reliability and allow us to look at changes over time. Finally, on the questionnaires, more qualitative questions could be asked, aiming at different areas to gain a broader understanding of what other factors could affect their autonomy or control. For example, looking at their coach relationships, family relationships, and other important relationships they are involved in. Thank you for taking the time to watch my presentation. Shall we conclude with a dance-off between two brilliant professional athletes? Well, I'm going to play it anyway.
Turn up the music and wild to the trumpet. Crank up the volume, turn up the bass, head back, full toss in outer space. Yeah.